I want to first welcome you to the Digital Fundraising Basics Workshop. I want to introduce myself. My name is Michelle Turner. I work here at the Optimus International headquarters in St. Louis. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm hoping by the end of this workshop you will learn why digital fundraising is important and some basics on how to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So it's about time that we rethink how we fundraise. Times have changed. Technology has revolutionized the way we live our lives. And nowadays we're spending more and more of our waking hours staring at our screens. With unlimited data plans and apps for everything, most of our daily activities are conducted online. In many ways, technology has improved the quality of life, including bringing out the unprecedented growth of e-commerce, automation, and knowledge at our fingertips. And while on one hand, technological innovations have made things more convenient, the growth of digital first generation can be a bit overwhelming in a way that nonprofits fundraise hasn't always kept up with it. So donor behavior has changed, and we can see this through statistics. So in the last 2 years, there have been a 24% growth in online donations. In 2018, mobile giving increased by 205%, which is extreme. That is an extreme increase. And 52% of millennials are interested in monthly giving as a meaningful way to give back. And I can say that I've seen this from experience in that millennials aren't so much interested in always going to club meetings all the time, but they do want to do things to give back. They want to participate with you and what you're doing. And that way, millennials are way more interested in just handing out money and saying, I did this for a cause. And you can see that a lot through like Facebook campaigns. So also moving on is 68% of donors agree that knowing how their donation makes an impact is important to their gift. And donors are 400% more likely to give again if they are thanked within 48 hours. With these shifts towards digital fundraising and specifically toward mobile, your donors are telling you that they're looking for a deeper relationship with your organization and club, frequent communication, and an easy digital giving experience. However, too often, nonprofits aren't in tune with their donors' digital fundraising needs, and this has real impacts on fundraising growth. Many folks are still stuck in the traditional project-style fundraising, like sending direct mailers a couple times a year, hosting an annual event, writing grants, etc. But this leaves many nonprofits stuck, locking themselves into only fundraising at specific times. And because of the technological shift, project-style fundraising approaches don't always translate when applied to raising funds online. The stop-start style of fundraising often leaves fundraisers feeling stuck and frustrated, always spinning their wheels and not being able to sustainably grow their fundraising. Because while the project-based fundraising may have worked well before, donors' preferences have changed. Instead, traditional methods should go hand in hand with ones with a digital focus. You can adapt your fundraising approach to fit your donors' needs and develop an ongoing, sustainable process to grow your fundraising. So the basics of fundraising have always been the same. Attracting, nurturing, and converting donors is nothing new. But exactly how organizations have done this has evolved dramatically through the years. So pre-1950 is when the birth of modern fundraising happened. Nonprofits and charities have always relied on word-of-mouth referrals to boost their donor base. However, these interactions were usually in person or over the phone and were personalized, specific asks. Most often, a prospective donor would only be considered if someone believed they would have an interest in the cause. Nonprofits first began developing fundraising plans and campaigns in the early 1900s. Much of fundraising was relying on relationships with personalized specific acts, typically targeting wealthy donors. Modern practices like short-term fundraising campaigns and fundraising thermometers developed, paving the way for the future. So between 1950 and 2005 is when mass fundraising came into play. And over time, organizations began using advertising via direct mail, the phone, telethons, and eventually television commercials to spread the word. But this resulted in a ton of messages, most of which that went unread and unanswered. This blanket marketing got organizations in front of people, but didn't include much buy-in factor. This just rented donors' attention, and it didn't work at converting and developing relationships with nonprofit audiences. In 2006 and through 2017, the internet revolution has connected in all imaginable ways. With the rise of internet, the key learnings from the blanket style advertising carried over to all online channels. But the internet is different. With audiences constantly engaged on social media, text, email, and more, we're developing deep relationships through the internet instead of one-way communication of mass fundraising. With increased connectivity, there's an audience of eager listeners out there who want and expect to hear from the things they're engaged in, including nonprofit organizations in your club. This desire for connection is why digital fundraising matters. The method, when used with each touch point and incorporated into regular fundraising activities throughout the year, builds on your supporters' relationships with you, and then converts it into a natural word-of-mouth marketing. And what is next, you may ask, for digital fundraising? If all of this has been accomplished within, starting in the 1900s all the way to 2018 and beyond, the sources are unlimited. It's just going to keep growing. This is the new age, and this is something that all clubs need to really consider doing and learning about. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here for a second and just ask a question. You can't really type in anything, but just think about the question. And does your club use digital fundraising? If not, do you think this is something you should consider? I hope all of you answered yes to my question. Digital fundraising, like I said, is ever growing. It's just going to continue growing. So I really hope that if your club isn't using digital fundraising, that this is definitely something you'll consider. And if your club is using digital fundraising, I hope throughout this that you'll learn a little bit more and know the outlets that you can use to do your digital fundraising. So with that said, what are the benefits to digital fundraising? Digital fundraising isn't just a trending strategy among nonprofit organizations. It's the present and the future state of fundraising, and the key to your fundraising growth. When planned for and executed properly, digital fundraising has immediate and long-term benefits for your club. So predictable donations equal retention. Digital fundraising lends itself to long-term, predictable, and sustainable growth. By investing in digital marketing, you're able to build brand awareness and cultivate a broad support base. Over time, as these individuals are cycled through the digital fundraising loop that you have created, conversion trends will start to emerge, which will let you know what is and isn't working. This data will also help you to inform you how you invest your time and optimize for growth moving forward. So if you streamline workflow, it equals less overhead. Digital fundraising is ultimately all about making it easy for you and your donors. No one wants to give on a clunky page that doesn't work on their phone. Similarly, no organization or club wants to spend hundreds of hours manually sending receipts and dealing with messy reporting. Digital fundraising helps you make data-driven decisions for optimal fundraising results. You'll be able to figure out which fundraising strategies work and which don't, based on the wealth and insights to inform your future fundraising strategies. You can use this data to learn what motivates your donors to give, segment and improve the way you communicate with your donors, and ultimately Hone in on the areas to focus your efforts and to optimize for donor conversions. So if you raise more, it equals acquisition. There's no denying that fundraising is based on relationships and connections. When you effectively attract, nurture, and convert donors well, you're building a relationship that lasts. Not only are you increasing each donor's lifetime value with digital fundraising, ultimately, you'll inspire your supporters to become members. When your strongest members share your organizations with their friends and family, those networks are inclined to listen. Digital fundraising helps you raise more by organically connecting you with your audience, widening and deepening it at the same time. So you heard me mention this a couple times, the digital fundraising mythology, which is attract, nurture, convert. There are three core elements. These are the three core elements when you talk about digital fundraising. Incorporating this framework can help you drive growth and cultivate deeper relationships with your supporters. So when we talk about attract, in order to get people's attention, you want to do things that make a lot of noise. And let's face it, there's already a lot of noise out there. So attract is basically nonprofit digital marketing one-on-one. It's a strategy to generate interest in your organization that eventually paves the way for a call to action or provides ways for your supporters to keep in touch. Luckily, there are several ways to attract a supporter based through digital marketing. Nurturing is how you build relationships and connect with your supporters. And more often than not, someone is giving to your cause because they feel emotionally connected to some degree. To do this, you'll nurture existing relationships to start building rapport with the audience you've attracted. So connecting with your supporters usually starts with a story. Nurture is basically email marketing campaigns, storytelling, and other initiatives that are dual parts educational and relatable. And a lot of people do this through Facebook videos, through Twitter, and just kind of showing videos of what you're doing out there in your organization and in your club. What are you doing to help the community? Those are the things that a lot of people want to hear about and see before they actually commit to giving. They want to see proof that you're doing something. So that means nurture, build those relationships, and connect with those supporters. The conversion stage of this process involves getting your supporter to complete a donation. So this looks like making a strong donation ask through email, social media, your website, or any other fundraising tools you may be using. Now that you've taken your supporter on a journey, they're ready to become a donor. And the important part of the conversion process is doing just that, making sure your donors convert. Donors today are expecting a donation process that's on par with their other online activity. It should be quick and easy to donate on any device they prefer. So they want to be able to do these things through Facebook, through an app on their phone, something quick that is very straight to the point. They don't have to fill out a whole ton of stuff. A lot of donors don't really care where their $5 go. When they're giving, $100 or more, they're going to want those 501c3 receipts. That's when that kind of comes into play. But when you're doing just a basic fundraising event and you're only asking for $5, a lot of those people, especially millennials, just want to see what they're giving to. So they want to see those videos on Facebook of what you plan on doing with this money. They want to know exactly where their money's going, but they don't care so much about a receipt. So they want it to be very quick, and using different digital fundraising apps, you can do that. And they also put in their email, and that is all stored and you can keep that. So when you give donors a good experience, they're more likely to convert and give again in the future. So there's a 4-step strategy when it comes to digital fundraising. Step 1 is building your list. Anchor your digital fundraising by building a list of people that want to hear from you via email. This list is best built through honest acquisition tactics executed online and through live events. Remember, digital is quick. Digital fundraising is not. You don't want to ask somebody to marry you on the first date. So in the same sense, if the day of giving is the first day in which you're trying to get someone to donate, that might turn out to be a little bit awkward. It takes anywhere from 8 to 18 months to convert donors from the first interaction. So take your time, tell your story, and segment your data as you tell it. Number 2 is make it easy. Speaking of not just asking for a click, you send out an email asking for $10 from someone who can give $10,000, you're being a cannibal. When you're saying click here to vote for us, just click here once for a $5 donation from somebody that's willing to give a lot more, you're being a cannibal. Don't ask for too little from people that care a lot. Flag large donations for VIP treatment. An organization should assume that 1% of their donors have 99% of the giving potential, and those must be nurtured in a high net worth giving strategy. So reduce friction for giving on Facebook by setting up a donate button from their system. Use this call to action only on platform, as it will be hard to get data from donors. Step 3 is thank your donors. Say it. Always say it. It's not that hard. If someone has given you money, that means they're likely and willing to give again. So take advantage of this by saying thank you. Retaining a donor is far more valuable than acquiring a new one. And step 4 is the most important question. Did it work? If you've done all of the above but skipped this step, you just wasted a lot of your valuable time. You must measure how effective your digital fundraising activities are. At the end of the year or quarter or campaign, you'll have to do the same real data analysis. What types of donors do you have? What is their giving pattern? Did you get 17% of your donors in December? So doing these 4 steps will really help you to get started and kind of will help you to lay out exactly what you need to do when you start this digital fundraising campaign. So online virtual fundraising is one of the most popular ways for nonprofits to raise money. We've learned this. But with the majority of daily activities taking place over the web, it's no surprise that we've observed this rise. Maybe your club hasn't yet developed an online fundraising plan, or you do fundraise online, but you are looking for some fresh, innovative approaches. Either way, it's time to brush up on peer-to-peer fundraising chops and check out some online fundraising ideas that you can attract donors to your nonprofit. So we're going to go through and just list the different, I'll kind of talk about a different couple of types of fundraising that you can do. And hopefully if you don't do one of these, you'll learn something and be able to take this back to your club and look at these ideas to get started. So peer-to-peer fundraising is one of the big things you can do on a fundraising platform. Accounts for 1/3 of all online donations. So it's one of the best online fundraising ideas out there. Encourage your networks to set up personal fundraising pages. So when your donors fundraise for you, they build credibility for your cause. So in fact, 1 in 4 solicitation emails from peer-to-peer fundraisers result in donations, compared with 1 in 1,250 emails from a nonprofit. So this just means that you're going to have your club members go out there and fundraise for themselves, for your club. So instead of your club fundraising as a whole, this is where you take those ideas of having each person, you can even put this as a contest, who can raise the most money. And that way it's coming from a personal aspect of them raising money from their friends, family, their peers, people they know. So you want to encourage them to set up those fundraising pages and fundraise for your club. You can easily set up a place for them to do this. using many different softwares. Another method is one-day email flash fundraiser or a social media sharing event. Email fundraising makes up for 1/3 of online donations, and while your nonprofit may have already held an email fundraiser this year, it may behoove you to do a one-day email fundraising blitz. Sorry about that. Choose one day, a day that possibly has some symbol or importance to your club. On the day of the blitz, send out a series of emails requesting donation. The email should include an emotional story, appropriate imagery, and a call to action that expresses urgency. If your audience is one that responds more positively to social media, then you might want to try a social media sharing blitz. As we all know, social media is a great place to fundraise. So leverage the power of these platforms with a one-day social media sharing event. Choose a day and actively encourage donations and sharing through all social media channels, such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat. Remember to set that dollar amount goal and periodically post updates throughout the day to let your supporters know how much you've raised and how close you are to this goal. This may help them to want to give to help you to reach to that goal. So Giving Tuesday is a common example of a one-day flash fundraiser and probably top of mind for fundraisers, especially with the holiday season just around the corner. For some inspiration, you can go online and find a lot of information about a Giving Tuesday campaign. And that is also one of the big things that maybe you can start with to just get your feet wet a little bit. So the next one is a donation matching drive. So build on that one-day email fundraising idea by securing a match from a company or a major donor and advertise the match in your email campaign. Donors love to know that their money was leveraged, and with matching gifts, they're essentially giving two gifts for the price of one. So in fact, one of the main reasons why millennials donate is because they know their gift will be matched. Matching gifts are also a great way to boost donations in mid-campaign. If you notice that donations are starting to taper off midday, try to introduce a matching gift to keep the excitement and momentum going. To secure a matching gift, start with your closest supporters, your board or your members. Ask them to see if they'd be able to pitch in for a matching gift or leverage their relationships with businesses to ask potential partners to contribute to the match. And then there's the event integrated fundraiser. So you can have a special fundraising event or gala coming up. If you have a special fundraising event or gala coming up, boost donations using technology by creating an online fundraising page. For one reason or another, some of your biggest supporters may not be able to attend in person, so don't miss out on their gifts. Take Toast 2019, hosted by the Museum of Stupid Cancer, for example. Toast celebrates adolescents and young adult cancer survivors with a traditional live gala by incorporating an online donation page. They have the opportunity to capture donations from supporters who can't make it. Some organizations have even taken this a step further by hosting their event entirely online using the Ungala fundraising approach. The Ungala is a new trending fundraising style where instead of spending so much time and effort on a big fancy event, it's basically just an online peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. An Ungala frees up your organization and staff, helping you focus your energy where needed most and raise a lot quickly. Another idea is to have an online auction or yard sale. So take your auction to the next level by hosting it online using a virtual platform that advertises the items and manages the bids. Online auctions are great because it eliminates the need for things like bid sheets. They can be tracked with a click of a button, and individuals can bid from anywhere. You don't just have to be in one spot. So it's a win-win for bidders and your club. An online yard sale is similar to an online auction, except that all the items for sale are usually secondhand items. It's a great online fundraising idea for the spring, because most people are in the midst of spring cleaning. So they're looking to clear their closets, and it's something that you guys can hone in on to fundraise money for your club and your events. Another idea is a birthday holiday fundraiser. So I know that a lot of you have seen these on Facebook where somebody's choosing a nonprofit or a cause to raise money on their birthday. So this is something that Facebook is very, very, very used to. And your supporters have used it to host or donate something like a birthday fundraiser. I'm sure of it. So fundraising with Facebook is really simple, but birthday fundraisers don't have to be limited to Facebook. So keep that in mind. This year, ask your networks to organize a fundraiser for your birthday or holiday. In lieu of gifts, your contacts can set up personal fundraising page where gift givers can instead leave a donation. I just wanted to give you guys an example here of a couple of different apps and websites that you can use. So a lot of you have heard of GoFundMe. There's also Fundraiser and Mighty Cause. My suggestion here is to really look into Mighty Cause, whereas you can see that GoFundMe and Fundraisers, so every time that you get donations, they take a standard, Fundraiser and GoFundMe will take a standard processing fee of 2.9% of that donation, plus 30 cents per transaction. Whereas Mighty Cause, it's free to use, and the overall fee processing rate for nonprofits is a platform average of 0.74% and 29 cents. So that's a huge, huge difference there. So if you're looking for something to fundraise with, these are definitely the ones that I would suggest. And then I want to say thank you so much for visiting this workshop. Thank you for joining. There will be some handouts for you guys that'll give you different types of systems that you can use, examples of different fundraising, just so you guys can print those out and keep those, take those back to your club. Thank you again. It was so great being here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time on the virtual convention.